So back to the inside of the coach. But here I want to remove this lip so I can dry whatever is inside here and then reseal this part. So here we go. Most of the screws on this face has been removed. On this part it's a little bit tricky. Obviously I have to remove the fascia so I can access all that area. And this part we got the screws flat screw into this part here. I'm not sure how many screws we have, but I'll find out. And probably most of these bulb of sealants in there. Well, it takes a blowgun to continuously heating the pad to soften up the glue underneath. Pneumatic hammer, chisel, another way this, and then another chisel, pry bar, give it to release the hammer. And of course, a lot of sweat, and this got to be one of the difficult things. So this start point is really difficult to pry off. I tried, and finally got it off today, and it's a week later after I tried to remove there. It was sticked on super well. So here's what I do. I use the pneumatic chisel to cut away, and then it was stuck in there. And I use the pry bar to release it, just like that. And then I keep going. Well, let me show you something. See, I have some water leak here. Well, not terrible, but a little bit water leak. Let's see why. Did you see? There's glue on here. Glue on here. There is no glue in the middle. See? That is why it's leaking. See? That's the fault from the factory. Well, they did not put enough seal on some parts, like I showed you right here. And that is exactly where I'm leaking. And I have another leak point here. Well, not really bad here, but definitely here. You see some stain? I suspect the same thing. Probably they left the glue a little bit short out here. And then I have a little bit leak here as well. Probably some leak over there. That's why I need to remove it and fix it. Took a lot of effort to reach this point. I've cut all the glues underneath from all the way there to this point, and up from this point on it will be glued on to the panel horizontally, and I honestly don't know how I can do that. For now it's just heat it with the hair dryer to soften it up and maybe tear a little bit, and then I'll start cutting it. I have softened up this glue for half an hour about now, and it's time to use the air hammer. Now I already got in a little bit, got the chisel underneath a little bit, and once it started it should be easier to move forward. We finally got to the point that all the glues are released, and that took 2 persons to get this job done. Lifting this board towards the ceiling so that I can have a little gap here, and then I use this small knife, go underneath and then cut all the way through. And then this blow dryer obviously is working together to soften up the glue and make the cutting a little bit easier. And finally we got it released, man. That is quite a job. Next we need to remove this board to the outside, and then I will clean up all the glue, preparing to reinstall that. Yeah, we are passing this board through this window here. Now with this fascia board out, we can clearly see what's going on here. Let's see this point. Look at here. There's some rust here, right? There's some rust underneath. Rust here. Here. Probably indicating this area is leaking. And then let's come to here. I know this point is most definitely leaking. Doesn't show on this, but on the inside this has some residuals, looks like, and some rust on the inside. And these looks okay, has grooves covered all the places. But did you notice any difference here? The glue here, no glue here. So it's creating a channel for water to get in, and you can see rust on this area. And water is definitely coming from here. It was also leaking on the inside as I showed you earlier. And next step, I'm going to use a scraper to scrape off all the glues, and then use acetone to clean it up, and maybe paint it a little bit, and then we'll move this to the inside and then reinstall it again. Okay, remove the glue in right now. Took me a lot of razor blades to remove most of the glue, and it's still not all the way yet. It's a little bit more difficult than I thought. The reason is it dulls the razor blade really quickly because the surface is just not smooth. Once I hit something on this plate that's not flat, it will instantly dull this razor blade. So I got through 7-8 blades now. Still got quite some to go. After a few hours of cleaning, it's finally mostly glue free. Let me show you. See, all the glues here have been removed, and this part also, well, I say 95% removed. That's the best I can do. And all the glues on here has been removed. So on the back of this bar is this painted surface, and this is supposed to face the interior. Because of the water leak, this side also had some rust. I used this angle grinder and used this scraper pad on it, and I scraped off all the rust, and then I used the drill plus this wire brush, and then just do a final clean. And then I used acetone to wipe it off, just like this, as you can see here. The treated surface would be like this. It's all shiny here. I used to have the rust, and same thing on these parts. This had the rust and a lot of rust in here, as well as these places. So after scrape off all the paint and the rust, I'm gonna apply some enamel again on this just to cover it up. Well, it's mostly just cosmetic, but since it's out, I'm gonna do it anyways. So just like that, it will work. Doesn't need to be perfect, just need to cover the raw steel surface. So now this fascia board has been thoroughly cleaned out. Now we need to move on to this frame piece. So as you can see, we got lots of glue residuals. And basically just take some time and use this razor blade to scrape off the bulk. When I scrape it off, I need to go from the bottom to the top. And just like this, one piece is off. I'll drop into this bag here. I need to be a bit careful on this plywood part, because it will pretty much cut off a piece of plywood with this razor blade, and I don't want to cut off too much of this plywood. I'll go like this. I'll leave the rest to acetone. Well, by the way, I'll show you this sofa. I'm pretty sure there will be some bits dropping on the sofa. I used the carpet cover, to cover this couch so that it'll be a bit easier to clean. I already used a razor blade to scrape off the big chunks, but still got plenty left. So what I'm going to do is just to clean as much as I can using this scraper, and then I'll use a brush, wire brush with acetone to wipe off the remaining. And if there's still some left there, I'm just going to leave it there, because this area won't be the main seal from this point on. There's a design flaw. Previously, this is the main seal area. The water can come into this place, but it should not come further down. But as you can see, we got some insufficient glue right here, and water came in from here. But the problem is that here, can you see it? There's a big part here exposing. It doesn't have glue like it has here. There's no glue here, so it's just exposed to elements. Once the water came in, it will just go right in there. And as you can see, there is some dirt on here. Definitely water has get in. But judging from this floor, it's not terrible. Maybe a little bit of water got in. It's still salvageable, and this plate is not completely rotted. Maybe damaged slightly, and it's dirty for sure, but it's not destroyed. But from now on, I will stick it from here, and then I'll use a lot of lab sealant to cover this entire area. So previously, in order to inspect the damage, and as well as removing the panel there, I pulled this sealing fabric down a little bit, so now it's separated. So what I'm going to do now is use some spray adhesive, and I'll spray in this area in order to stick it back. Should be pretty straightforward. So I'll press it for a minute or so to force it on there. So here's one of the last prep jobs. I got some acetone here in this little foil container I made, and this is a wire brush, and I'm just going through it like this. I want to clean off the ones on this panel as much. I want to remove the glue on this panel as much as possible, but I'm not going to bother with the glues on this metal surface. And dip this brush into this container every once in a while. But before I put this fascia on, this is the best time to clean the carpet that's on the ceiling. It has some light water stain. I already removed most of it. Probably can't see even. Yeah, you can't see now. It's all removed. But basically, just do a few passes off with this carpet cleaner. So I used some rubbing alcohol with a rug to clean it the last time before I put it on. Just thoroughly wipe it down. I'll do the same thing with this surface. Just thoroughly pour some alcohol on the rug and then just wipe it down the last time in case some surface dust is on there. On here I will put some glue on the surface. Trying to get those screw holes to line up is not an easy job. Need to secure the top screws. Can't use the impact drive because space is too small. I used the impact driver to put on initially. Now I will use this screwdriver to manually tighten to the torque that I want. So I was in too much of a hurry to talk about anything other than doing the work. So let me talk about what I used on this fascia. Now it's on there and all the screws have been tightened, and some areas we can see the sealant oozing out. So the sealant I'm using is this Charbon SB140, the butyl sealant in the bottom, so that it will have a good seal in the bottom. The next thing is to wait for a day or so for this thing to dry, and then on the back side of this we have the surface that's 90°, right? One side is this and the other side is the top of the slide. I'm going to pour a lot of the Dicor on that 90°, so it will fill any gap and it will prevent any water damage in the future. So it's time to put some lap sealant, the Dicor lap sealant, behind the surface here. So here we go. You can see better than me. I actually can't see anything. So I need to use my phone while doing this. I'm watching my phone, which way I'm going. So here I'm sticking this rubber seal back on. Now the correct thing to do is actually just toss this away. This is the old seal. I just cut off from here and stripped off from this top plate. Now the right thing is just toss this away and buy a new one and then stick it on. But this is not a primary seal. Can you see if it was here, it will touch here, and honestly it doesn't do that much. The main seal is this wiper seal and this newly sealed edge here. So I have decided to reuse this old rubber seal. What I did do is reapply a double-sided tape on the bottom right here, just to clean this surface really well and then put a new double-sided tape on here. Okay, so here we go. So what you are seeing here is the trim for that fascia. There is an old one that's like this one. It's made of MDF, and that board, because of the water damage, has been soaked and swelled. So I just replaced that with this lumber piece. Well, the raw piece, the length is 6 foot, but I cut it a little bit. It's 5/8 inch thick, and the width here on this side is 4 inch and 5/8. So now it's been cut and secured on there. So I need to install the lower trim like you see here. I cut this piece incorrectly. I didn't measure it very well, so I had to make a little mark up a little bit here. But no big deal. We have another piece cover on the outside, so it won't affect the look. And this piece is my lower trim. Well, we got this trim piece fitted in. See, there's a screw here to put in this little piece, and then one screw in the middle here, and another screw on the far end right here. And this lower trim used to be held on by nails, but I don't have nails, so I'll just use little small screws in the bottom, one here, and one on this side here, and another one on this side. And you wouldn't be able to see those screws once it's installed. And it looks pretty good, much better than the old wet and soaked swelled MDF board. So we got most of the trim on now, and still left these ones here because I need to work on the slide out drains still. So these sides were left open for now. Last thing to do is put that cover on the outside, and we're good to go.